What is up, my YouTube family? Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, then it's just welcome to my channel and not welcome back. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button because you will not be disappointed unless, of course, your taste level is lacking. If that's the case, I don't know what to tell you because I got 99 problems, baby, but a questionable taste level is not one, okay? To everyone else, hi and welcome. Y'all ain't seen me in a minute. Y'all almost lost a real one to depression. I ain't gonna hold you. I feel like I fell down this deep, dark black hole. Eventually, I made my way up, like out of it. But like, imagine you crawl out the hole. I'm laughing, but this is so serious and so real. Imagine you crawl out the hole and you ain't even got the energy to just run home, try to find a little piece of phone, girl, call 911, none of the things, okay? You just laying in the grass on the leaves, just right there, right next to the hole, depleted of the energy it took you to get out of there, right? That's me. Am I in the car? I might be in the car now, but still sitting, not quite ready to pull off. You know, I don't know. But I missed y'all, and so I'm back today. I do feel well enough to do this, so I'm here today. Okay? And I hope y'all are doing well. I appreciate everybody who reached out to me in any capacity to send well wishes, check on me, all of or any of the things. Greatly appreciated. I'm pushing through, child. I got a great support system. Shout out to them. I'm not gonna waste no more y'all time in the beginning. Let's get into the details of the case we are discussing today, which is that of Kanika Powell. And there are a lot of things to unpack and talk about, so I'm just gonna start from the very beginning. Y'all know it's actually kind of, well, I don't know if it's funny or sad, but when I was like, I'm ready to film, I'm ready to do my video, I was like, I still got the research for a case already done, just needing to be filmed. Sat down to film it and realized that it was already filmed, uploaded, and on the channel, which was the last video that I did a month ago. But I did already know that I wanted to talk about this one next, and then the next video I upload will be the Beyond Belief, because I do have stories that I've been working on in the time. I just haven't edited or filmed the voiceovers, so I'll be doing that right after this. Kanika Powell is born on January 31st of 1980 to a single mother, Judy, who was in the military. And according to Judy, Kanika was always a very happy child, right? Very bubbly, great personality, very sweet, very kind. And she showed ambition and a large personality even from a very early age. Now, she was feisty sometimes, according to Judy, and very opinionated, but also very pleasant to be around. She very easily makes friends. Judy and Kanika live in Prince George County, Maryland, where she attends Largo High School. And growing up, Kanika really admires her mother. She wants to follow in her footsteps and go into the military. So she joins the Army about 2 years after her high school graduation. And from the time she leaves from basic, she always keeps in regular contact with her mother. And her first major posting was in Korea, where she spends her 4th and final year of service. Now, in 2004, after completing her 4 years, Kanika decides that she wants to end her military career, return back home to Prince George County, Maryland, where her mother still lives. She gets herself an apartment. Here she is with her mother. Wow, y'all really be out here copying and pasting yourselves, just cloning. And Kanika also secures her dream job, working down to the Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Laboratory, where she handles very highly sensitive and classified information. And this position required someone who has top security clearance, which of course she has. Now, there's very little information about said job that she was allowed to disclose, so details about exactly what she does at this job remain a mystery to her friends and family. And a job like this is not something that's unheard of, especially if you live in the DMV area, very close to, you know, all those governmenty buildings. Kanika will often have to travel for work, and the only details that she really can share is that she travels to pick up and or drop off highly sensitive documents, things that just can't go in the mail world. They just have to show up by person or pigeon carrier. For 2 years, she works at this job as a contractor before they offer her a full-time position, and of course she is elated. She works another 2 years there before she casually begins dating a woman, and life is pretty normal and well until it wasn't. Saturday, August 23rd of 2008, at around 7 p.m., Kanika hears a knock at her door. She's home alone in her apartment, not expecting company. And as she is approaching the door, she calls out to the person and is asking like, who's there? But they don't give her a response. Looking through the peephole, she sees that it's a man that she does not recognize, like, at all. So again, she asks him like, sir, who are you? And he identifies himself as an FBI agent. He asks if she is Kanika Powell. She says yes, and he tells her that he needs to speak to her regarding an investigation into fraud. Now, she does not open the door. Instead, she continues to talk to him through the door because things seem a little fishy. So instead, she decides to try and press him for more information. She asks him to show proper identification. He holds up to the peephole this badge that has a seal on it, but it doesn't look like an FBI agent's badge. It doesn't have a photo on it at all. It's just like that gold-plated, generic-looking sheriff's badge, if you will. She asked the man if there's like any paperwork or warrant, anything they can show to prove the validity of there being an investigation into her about fraud. And he produces nothing more, so she does not open her door. She decides to call the police. She also goes to her bedroom window. They gave her a bit more visibility, and she could see the man walking away from her door toward the leasing office, and that he was carrying some type of like envelope or like a file folder. Kanika also could hear a second male's voice instructing him on which direction to walk. Now, the police come out, they make a report of all of the things, and she's able to give a physical description of the man. He was a black male wearing a black hat, black sunglasses, and a North Face jacket on August 23rd. Like, ain't it hot for a little piece of jacket on August 23rd? And FBI agents typically come out, like, don't they usually wear a little piece of suit? I don't know, I've never had the FBI come to my house, but when they in the movies, they be having on a little suit and tie. This man, he didn't have on any of it. The responding officers tell her that they will check the area to see if they find a man matching his description. They also tell her that they will increase the patrols in her neighborhood for the remainder of the day and the rest of the week. And once they leave, Kanika reaches out to the FBI as well, who confirmed what she already felt and knew. This was not a real, actual FBI agent. There was no investigation into her regarding fraud, no need for them to speak with her. They also inform her, and I want to inform you, just in case they out here trying to still run this scam, that FBI agents never come to your door in one, like as a singular. It's always at least two. Sometimes it's three. They will always go on a call with a partner, and they will always be able to show a badge that has their photo as well as the shield, not just the shield. Now, this was also strange and very worrisome. It would be one thing if somebody shows up to your door pretending to be an FBI agent and they don't call you by name, but this person knew her first and last name. So she felt the need to put those around her on notice. Starting with the leasing office, she first goes and makes a record of this incident with them, and then she sends this email to her friends and family. The subject line reads, "Weekend," and it says, "I just wanted to share with you the scariest thing that happened to me this weekend. Saturday evening around 7 p.m., a man was knocking at my door. As all of you may know, I live alone. I asked who it was and he didn't answer. So once I got close to the door and looked out the peephole, I saw a male figure that was not familiar to me at all. I asked who he was, and all he stated was that he was from the FBI and that he was looking for Kanika Powell. It freaked me out completely because this man knew my name. He held a shield up but no picture ID and never gave his name. He told me that he was looking for me in regards to an investigation. I told him that I had no idea as to what he was talking about and that he would need to show me documentation as well as a warrant of some sort. So he left, and I looked out my bedroom window and I saw him walking. I also heard a voice tell him to walk in the opposite direction. This second voice was a male's voice, but she didn't see the person. The whole situation was scary and seemed so false. So because of this incident, not only did I get no sleep for the rest of the weekend, but I am now trying to get an alarm system installed in my apartment. I had one in my old apartment, but I just hadn't had it transferred to my new one. As far as everything that happened with the guy, I did call the FBI and they told me that it was more than likely bogus because they never come to your door by themselves and they always leave a card of some sort so that you can contact them. I called the local police as well to give them a description just in case someone is out there trying to harm single women. Pass this on, ladies. This is not a fake forward. This happened to me, Kanika. Who knows who these guys are and what they're doing and in what areas other than mine. Now, in a later conversation she has with her mother about the situation, she tells her mom that she believes that she's being targeted by scammers and that it is her hope that the security system that she's having installed, along with keeping an eye out, being a little more hyper vigilant, would be enough to avoid whatever it is that the scammers are trying to pull off. She has several people respond to this email and offer her their homes. Even if it's just for a couple of days, if you feel, unnerved, you can come here. But she declined. As someone who really values, appreciates, and prefers the comfort of their own home. I feel her. Her best friend is really trying to pressure her to come over and like spend the night with her husband, and her son. But she tells her no because her plan is to get up early the next morning, go on the base, get herself some protection. Of course, she also has the security system coming. And her best friend, although she wants her to come over anyway, she just tells her okay. But if at any point she feels unsafe, she changes her mind, the invitation still stands, and they'll make arrangements for Kanika to get to her friend's house. Now, Wednesday, August 27th, just 4 days after the initial visit, there's another random knock at Kanika's door. Without saying anything, she looks through the peephole, and there's a man standing there. A different man, but one that she does not recognize. He's a black male, about 6 feet tall. He has facial hair, whole beard. He's dressed in a FedEx shirt, and the sleeves are either short or cut off to be short. He also has on Dickie shorts, Timberland boots, white socks, and although he is very different from the FBI agent, equally suspicious. He asks if she is Kanika Powell, and she says yes. He tells her that he has a package to deliver for her. She tells him to just leave the package at the door. Okay, if you have one, just leave it at the door. I'll get it later. Then he tells her that the package requires a signature. Not only is she not expecting a package because she has not ordered anything, Kanika's also noticing that despite him having on this little piece of FedEx shirt, he does not have a package anywhere. There's no package on the ground, one in his hands. There's also not a FedEx truck anywhere near. So she refuses to open the door, and eventually the man does walk away, but not before being seen by her cousin. So Kanika has a cousin that lives in the same apartment complex as her. And it just so happened that this cousin was returning home at this same time and saw this man. He does leave without, of course, leaving behind any kind of packing slip, tracking number, nothing. He just goes. And afterwards, she calls FedEx, who confirms to her that there is no package that they have for her. And at this point, it's very obvious that somebody is targeting her and very desperate to gain entry into her apartment. And whomever it is, it appears that they are not giving up, and they're actually growing impatient, because the very next morning on Thursday, the 28th, bright and early, 7:30 a.m., there's a knock at her apartment door again. And again, there stands an unfamiliar man who says that he is there to deliver a package. It's the same song and dance of him trying to convince her that he's legit, he got something for it, and her telling him first to prove it, then to leave. She calls the police again. Afterwards, she calls her mother, very shaken up and disturbed. At this point, it's obvious that this isn't like a regular scam. It appears that if it were an ordinary scam, that by now they would have simply moved on to the next target. But whoever this is very persistent and desperate to gain access to her apartment. The police come out, but again, he's long gone by the time they get there. They don't see anybody in the area matching the description given. He's left nothing in his tracks. They have no means of identifying him or the other two, but there are cigarette butts left in front of the door. And when talking to a friend later on the same day about the incident, she tells this friend that the cigarette butts are something she actually started noticing earlier in the week, right around the time this happened. Like, now that she's thinking about it, each day she was coming home and noticing that either Black and Mild or a cigarette butt was left in front of her door, and now she is thinking that someone is leaving them there purposefully to send a message that somebody has been there and they've been waiting for her. Her best friend Ayana says that she just flat out asked her at that point, like, girl, who did you piss off? Who could you have upset? Did you cut somebody off in traffic? Is there someone that you got into it with? Like, is there anyone you could have rubbed the wrong way that could possibly have already been on the edge and you just maybe pushed them over? But Kanika assures her that there is no one that she's had any kind of altercation with, not even a small exchange that somebody could have overreacted to. She does not have the slightest idea who would want to harass or bring her harm. Now that there have been a total of 3 different strange men within a matter of days show up to her apartment, she becomes afraid to leave it, because now it's feeling a lot more sinister than a scam. And at this point in the week, she doesn't really want to take her friends and family up on their offer to come to their house, because it's now Thursday. She has a trip coming up where she'll be out of town from Friday through the weekend. So it kind of didn't make sense to pack up for one day. She does not go into work that Thursday, which is the same morning that this third person has come to her home. It says she decides to call off from work, and she's actually scheduled to be off Friday through the weekend because she has a trip planned for her and her lover to go to Atlanta Pride. And of course, at this point, she was looking forward to the weekend because this trip could not be at a better time. She needs this break. A few hours after this, she tells her best friend, she tells her lover, she tells her mother about this strange visit and all of the things going on where her head's at and how she is just very worried. She also tells them that she is going to leave the house to run a few errands because she and her girlfriend are driving to Atlanta. Her car needs servicing. There are also a couple of other things that she needs to pick up before their trip. Now, her plan is to get out, run these errands, and get back in the house as quick as possible because she doesn't want to be outside at night. She doesn't want to be coming home in the dark. Broad daylight feels like a safe time to get these things done. Aside from the one visit that happened at 7 a.m., they typically happened in the 7 p.m. hour. So she leaves, does her things, and she gets back home at around 11 a.m. She checks her surroundings. There's nothing out of the ordinary that she can see. So she makes her way toward her door, but unfortunately, she had not spotted the danger, and the danger had spotted her. There's someone waiting around the corner of her front door. As soon as she approaches it, they ambush her, letting off several shots that hit her. And then whoever this is, they take off on foot. Now, one of her neighbors hears the commotion. They heard her scream, "No, no, no," before hearing the shots. So he opened his door, looks out, smells gunpowder, and sees Kanika lying down, very obviously in distress but still alive. And so he immediately calls the police. Kanika is rushed to the hospital. Her mother's called, her friends, her family, they gathered there in support and just praying and hoping that she pulls through. But unfortunately, she does succumb to her injuries. They were just way too extensive. Police are baffled. They don't understand her purse, her keys, all of that was found lying next to her. Nothing was taken. They didn't try to enter her apartment. They didn't try to enter her car. So it's very clear that robbery or something like of that nature was not the motive. It had to be something personal. They scour the area for evidence, but there is literally nothing that they can find. Investigators scour the area looking for evidence. They don't find anything. And despite this happening in the 11 a.m. hour, broad daylight, there is not a single solitary person who says that they saw anything. There are no cameras in the walkways of her apartment complex. It was only that one neighbor that recalled hearing her say no 3 times that called the police, but they didn't see the assailant at all. In talking to her friends and family, they found that she was not involved in any kind of like illegal activities, any street pharmaceuticals, if you will. No known enemies. Her friends, family, they don't have a clue who will want to harm her. Kanika had a very small, close circle of friends. A lot of her friends, like her best friend, she had been best friends with for 15 years. A lot of her friends she had known for a really long time. She was a homebody. She rarely went out, only for like social events, but that was like a rare occasion. However, her best friend, Ayana, does tell police that in the weeks leading up to these events, like these strange visits, she had met new people, this new friend group that the best friend didn't know much about, but she didn't know that her current girlfriend, the woman she was dating, she met through that friend group. And she herself had not gone out ever to like hang out with Kenneka and the friends, so she really couldn't speak to their character. Like that was the only variable that she could think of that could be related to this. Now this friend group, none of them showed up to the hospital when all the other friends showed up to support the family. None of them came to the funeral, which people thought was a little bit odd. According to her best friend Ayana, this friend group, they were like ghosts from the moment this happened. I mean, to not even express condolences is kind of strange. People also began speculating that this might have had something to do with her job. Now, once the story hits the media, the speculations really take off. People started to question and wonder whether or not this could have been related to her work, her top secret job at Johns Hopkins. Like, did she know something she wasn't supposed to know? Was there something that happened at work that people didn't know about? Like, has she become a perceived threat to a higher up? Maybe it was something that she wasn't even aware of. And then there's also speculation that there's a serial killer on the loose. Now, around that time, there was one active in the area. We'll talk about him in the next true crime video. 25-year-old Jason Thomas Scott. He was dubbed the mother-daughter killer. He was active in the area starting June 2008 which Kanika was ambushed in August of 2008. And Jason was active until March of 2009. His crimes, his MO was completely different than that of Kanika's assailant. Is it possible he could have had a one-off? Yes, of course. But his verified victims were mother-daughter duos. He was also a peeping Tom, taking videos of women, and he worked with an accomplice. He was not a solo act. But if you recall, there were two men heard during one of those trips. It was the man that came to the door and then the other one that was instructing him on where to walk. He also was known not to take anything from his victims, like he didn't take any valuables. So there are some similarities, but there are also some huge differences. He used a firearm, shot excessively, but then he didn't wear any type of disguise. He didn't dress up or try to look like something else. Now, when he got brought down, they did ask him about Kanika Powell, but he has not even admitted to the crimes that they know him to have committed. So, of course, he denies that. And although he was asked questions, he's never been named, like, officially as a suspect or person of interest. Now, investigators believe that whoever was behind this, it was very personal, and they had hired these other people to come up, show up to her door, and try to get in to do the job. Now, hired don't mean professional, because it was very sloppy and weird and high risk. You returning day after day. Like, that's very risky. But if you know a lot about her, you know she's a single woman living solo, then of course you may feel more comfortable returning day after day. Ladies, we all need to be armed, okay? Armed and dangerous. And then, of course, some turned an eye to this woman that she was dating and was scheduled to leave the following day to attend Atlanta Pride with. Hi, baby. I love you and you're so pretty and beautiful. Thank you, mommy. I love my piggies. I love my little piggy girl. Child, we got company. So now this woman, her mom had met her a couple of times, and according to Judy, she always got a really warm feeling from the woman. They always greeted each other with a nice warm hug. She said she never got any ill feelings from the lady, but she also acknowledges that the relationship was very new. She had only met her a handful of times, had a handful of conversations, and so she can't really vouch and say for sure like this lady had nothing to do with it. She didn't feel like she did, but she couldn't be for sure. With the visits starting to happen within days of their trip and the ambush happening the morning before they were set to leave, it did make Judy and a lot of Kanika's friends and family members, even investigators, wonder whether or not there was somebody who did not want that trip to happen. Like, was there a jealous ex somewhere in somebody's background who didn't want this to happen? There are just so many questions. And for the record, her mother Judy does not believe that this had anything to do with the job. And neither do investigators. They said that they did look into that. They didn't find anything that led them to believe that this was work related. But like, girl, police, would you find that out? Would you? I'm genuinely asking. If this was like high level top security government business, I don't know that they would offer that information to investigators. I better smack it all in the mic. As far as crazed exes in Kanika's past, they don't find anything. But the woman that she's dating did have a male ex. And according to one of Kanika's friends, she had had a conversation with her about the ex and said that she had seen him, that he was, quote, weird and not a very friendly person. Now, the friend never met him or been around him themselves. Kanika had just expressed getting bad vibes from him. Sadly, but not surprisingly, there have not been any new developments in Kanika Powell's case. Investigators have not been able to find out anything. No one has ever been charged in her case. Nobody has even been named as a person of interest in the case of 28-year-old Kanika Powell, and police just don't have a clue. And then 2.5 months after this incident, in November of 2008, and also in Prince George County, Maryland, another incident takes place that is eerily similar to Kanika's case. 31-year-old Sean Nicholas Green, who also works a very secretive top-level security job, but he works at the National Counterterrorism Center. Now, Sean had just left his apartment a little bit after 5:30 p.m. and I'm unsure where he was headed to, but while he is sitting at a red light amongst several other cars, someone wearing a mask walks up to his car and ambushes him in the same manner. He was hit a total of 9 times in the head. Now, Sean, just like Kanika, was spoken of very highly by his friends and family, described as kind. He was well educated, successful, seemingly no enemies. And he began working at the National Counterterrorism Center in 2007, just 1 year prior to this incident. According to Sean's supervisor, his job there was to keep classified information flowing and critical computer systems humming. He was well liked by all of his colleagues. They said that he was a great guy, and he was often seen on his breaks reading his Bible outside in the sun. Now, as far as his personal life, he didn't have children of his own. He had 8 nephews and 1 niece, who he was very involved with. He was the uncle that showed up to the games, the sporting events, the birthdays, giving the young men somebody to look up to. And just like within Kanika's case, investigators have trouble pinpointing the enemy or a likely motive. Nothing was stolen from his car. The person just ran up, did this, and took off. Granted, there are cars surrounding Sean's. None of them really got to see the person. It just looked like another hired hit that they just couldn't figure out, that just didn't make sense. Now, they don't find any evidence. The police department, they do move very quickly to dispel these rumors that the 2 incidences are related. According to them, the fact that both of them work these jobs that require top security clearance, they said that it wasn't enough to believe that the 2 cases are related at all. And unfortunately, they have not found any leads, any evidence. They don't have a clue what happened to Sean Nicholas Green either. And so neither of their families have gotten any closure, which is really sad, because somebody knows, like somebody knows something. That is pretty much it for this video. And honestly, I'm equally as stumped, but y'all, it ain't my job to figure it out, because I ain't the one been trained, okay? I don't know what could have happened. I do think it's very strange that the new friend group just disappeared into thin air, didn't attend the services. Like that's all kind of suspicious. And I just hate that their families have suffered these losses with no answers whatsoever. I hate these cases where we don't get justice. Y'all, that is it for this case. Y'all have a good one. I hope you have been well. I will see you later. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments on this case. Like the video before you leave. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. I'm back, y'all, I promise. As always, I appreciate you so much for spending your time with me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Peace. Y'all, I'm trying to drink chlorophyll every day, like at least 1 bottle of water with a tablespoon. It's not nasty, but it ain't good. Y'all, and this hair on my shoulder is overstimulating me. It's overstimulating me real bad. Ugh, that's even more overstimulating. You know, Brittney, I get it, girl. You sat up there, you shaved your head. I got an attitude. I got an attitude now because I'm hot. Hell. Of 1980 to a single mother, Judy. Okay. Grr. She easily made friends, and when Judy settles down to okay. Grr. And the only detail really, you ain't new to this. You true to this, girl. Come on. The only things she. Saturday, August 3rd of 2008. No, it was the 23rd, girl. I ain't even got to look at my notes to know I was wrong. Jeez. Police look around the area. They don't find a man. Said, along with keeping an eye out, being a little more extra. I was gonna say extra virgin, girl. She ain't no damn. This is not olive oil. She also doesn't want to take her friends and family up on our first. And now she is. Look at that. Stamped. Police are baffled when they get to talking in French. They scour the evidence. They scour the yeah, I can't say they scour the area for every investigator. I'm just so irritated. I'm so irritated. And I feel ugly. Pull it together, girl. Kanika had befriended a 25-year-old Jason Thomas Scott. And Jason Smith, his name was Scott. I just said Scott, girl. His crimes were now his crimes is him. I can't talk. Investigators also believe that whoever these people were, whoever pulled this off. Okay. Investigators also believe that whoever these people were, whoever pulled this off. Okay. These people had any. Let me know your thoughts.